To the left, we have the LG C2 rocking my beyond reference settings. To the right, we have the director's intent filmmaker mode. This is the industry accurate mode that every single professional calibrator and purist will recommend you view like. This is the idea. This to them is director's intent. Now, again, you can clearly see beyond reference, reference. If you don't like the reference look, well, there's good news. You can go beyond reference with Quantum TV. So let's show you what it looks like. The reference standard, and this is what the S95 looks like, beyond reference. So I wanted to show this off just to articulate to you guys that this is not a normal comparison. Both TVs have been fully optimized. Now, full disclaimer here. The S95b was adjusted 100% by my master calibrator eye. It has not been hooked up to any tools or any instruments because out of the box it comes buttoned up pretty damn well. Or at the very least, mine did. So all I had to do from there was figure out how to take it beyond reference standards. Now, I wanted to disclose that to you guys because it is a very important thing to note that this TV over here has been hooked up to the Kalman software with tools and instruments and all that stuff, and we calibrated it to a T and took it beyond reference standards. This has not been hooked up to any tools or instruments, and I was able to go well beyond what a TV that has had that treatment is looking like. So again, this is the difference between my comparisons. I try to optimize for every feature and every ability the TV offers. Other guys are whipping it out of the box and just showing you bland bargain basement image quality like this. They're saying, you know what? This is what you get. This is what it looks like. It's absolutely incredible. This is the director's intent. Wonderful. Absolutely beautiful. So if this is a kind of comparison that you want to see, the C2 would slaughter it if it's running beyond reference settings. So I just kind of wanted to articulate that before we get started here. If we look at skin tones, it is an absolute slaughter when we start seeing just the reproduction. Now again, I don't know how well YouTube is going to show this off, and my camera is probably going to struggle to show you, the RGB versus the WRGB types of displays here. But what I can tell you, like looking at it with my naked eye, there is no reason when you get to scenes like this to look at the LG C2 at all. It basically is kind of being defeated too much by the purity of the color red. Those primaries are kicked up into like fifth gear here, okay? And it's just insane on the Samsung S95b to the right, to the point where I'm just honing in and gravitating 100% over here. The effect is continued when we start looking at more of the skin tones and different kinds of scenes and examples, and you can see like it's so staggeringly beautiful. Now what the color reminds me of here in this particular example is the Samsung S22 Plus. So if you have a Samsung S22 Plus, just think of it like that, like how it's like, especially around the lips and stuff like that, the red is so vibrant and so popping, just like it is on those phones, but like on a television, which on OLED we've never seen before. And it's huge. It's something that really changes the game a whole lot and gives a lot more in terms of picture fidelity. And this is something that has blown my mind with this, because I've been saying for years, man, God, wouldn't it be great if we could get like that quality that we get out of the vibrancy on these OLED phones from Samsung in a television, but of course Samsung doesn't make OLED TVs. The first OLED television they make since 2012, and they completely knock it out of the park. It's just a total win. It's so good. And it's one of those things, like every example I could possibly show you for skin tones and for color, it looks so aesthetically pleasing. I mean, have a look at this image. You can't tell me that the LG C2 looks more aesthetically pleasing on really any level when looking at this image. The Samsung just holds the better color. It holds the better clarity. It's just doing way more. It like actually looks like what OLED promised from the beginning, the perfect canvas to paint every color. And LG is not delivering that on the C2. Now, I understand that the Samsung is more expensive than the LG, but this is one of the rare examples where you truly do get what you pay for. Yes, you're paying a premium for the Samsung, but it is totally worth it. Like, you look at this TV and you say, yeah, that's a $2,000+ image right there, 100%. You look at the LG and you go, I mean, yeah, that's in line with what we've seen at about $1,000. I mean, and that's just real, like 1,100, 1,200. We've seen images that can hit like that. I haven't seen a TV that can hit as hard as the S95b. I have not. And I've been doing this, man. I've been doing this for so many years, and it's such a reward to finally see technology evolve to the point where we're seeing this. We're seeing this gigantic difference now between what LG calls the best picture money can buy, basically giving themselves awards every year, okay, through all the reporters and all the stuff. You guys know the game, right? And then you have Samsung come out, and the fact that this didn't even get like a best of 2022 at CES, there's something wrong with the world, man. This is hot shit. I don't know if that's because it wasn't there or whatever, but if this doesn't start cleaning the floor with every single review publication's expectations and getting like a new best TV in the world award, there's something seriously wrong at play here. Now, this will probably be virtually impossible to show off on camera. I just don't have a camera dynamic enough to show the level of red that is flying off the screen right now on the Samsung S95b. All I can do is hope that you can see that there is a dramatic difference here between these two. Now, red is a very bright color, and it's appearing extremely bright on my camera, so what I'll do, I'll try to lower down the ISO so you can see it, but I don't really know if it's gonna do you any good, so I'll just put it back to where it was. Honestly, guys, red is the color that's gonna make you really fall in love with this Samsung S95b. It really starts to, again, feel like a billionaire's TV when you start to get to the color red. LG, to its credit, is doing fine with the color red. It's not like its reds are like, oh my God, they're the worst I've ever seen, but by comparison, you can totally see they're more orange by comparison, and more towards the hue of a blood orange. Now, I've been saying this for years about LG. Their blood orange reds are out of control. You're not really gonna notice how bad it truly is until you put it up against a TV with true reds. And this TV has it. And when I tell you it's gonna blow your mind on so many levels, like, I'm not even kidding. I mean, I don't give TVs this kind of praise unless they genuinely earn it, and that's what makes it so special. Like, when others speak and they say everything's awesome, it means nothing because they're liars marketing a product. I don't do that. Samsung is earning all of the praise that they're getting from me because at the end of the day, this is a very high level that Samsung is hitting at. This is the highest level I've ever seen them at. And I think when you can say that about Samsung and you can look at their image quality and just see such a staggering, like, jaw-dropping experience, like, this is it, man. This is the pinnacle of technology that we wanted for televisions. And I think if you're somebody that's serious about TVs, you're definitely going to be excited about this kind of stuff when you get to TV shows and movies and sports and all of that, because it's just taking it to the absolute next level. If you're an anime fan, you're really gonna appreciate the level of color when it comes to anime because everything comes alive. The extra brightness is out of this world. And when I tell you it's literally like if LED had perfect black, I'm not joking, because that's what it is. It's like it's the next level, man. You can't really say something is next level and show every single person, but when I tell you this is the next level that TVs have been trying to get to, I mean, I truly mean it because, man, wow, what a treat this is. I mean, you're seeing Kachan right here just absolutely just explode with highlight detail. So dynamic, I'm almost certain my camera can't capture it. Like, it's that damn good. And I think when you have something that's this damn good, I mean, just wow, look at that highlight, look at the color, the vibrancy, all of it, beautiful. Not to take anything from the C2. The C2 is brilliant in its own right. It does look pretty on this image as well. And I think anybody who buys this TV, when you're watching anime, you'll love the C2 just as much. You'll look at it and go, wow, that's a beautiful image in moments like these, right? But it's as things start getting more dynamic and you start to get to more highlight-rich things like Deku now. He's literally just cranking it up to the next level and getting ready to wreck house, right? That's when the moments feel more immersive, I would say, because when you have scenes like this, when they're like flying past you with explosions, the Samsung is going to render those colors in a way LG just can't. And that is going to hurt the experience and the immersive capabilities of the LG. It's limited in scope with what it's able to accomplish. And again, I'm a massive anime fan, and so to have a TV like this that shows anime that looks this damn good, like, bro, like, this is what we all want. We want something that, like, shows us that brightness level without all the nonsense. You see, Sony last year with their A90J claimed to give you this kind of experience, but it wasn't there as far as their whole brightness thing that they did with the new heatsink and all that trash. I'm sorry to tell you, this is better. Like, 100%. Like, the skin tones are, like, accurate as fuck. Like, I'm not gonna complete that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, holy crap. Like, I'm blown away, man. Like, I was watching Demon Slayer, I was in love. I was watching One Piece, I was watching One Punch Man, in love. I mean, like, all of this stuff looks so very good on this display. So if you're an anime buff, comparatively to the C2, you are going to have the better time, hands freaking down, with the Samsung S95b. It's basically like 3D on steroids with like anime vibrancy and poppy goodness. Like, just run out and buy it if that's how you're using this TV. As we test ABL, you can see how quickly it does and does not kick on with the Samsung. Going full screen, you see a slight reduction in brightness, but it is nothing like what we get on the LG C2, where the brightness shift is pretty apparent and almost immediate. And I think that's a great thing. Now, that's not to say that there is no ABL, but the ABL on the Samsung S95b appears to be a lot more gradual, opposed to just being almost like an immediate transfer of brightness dimming down. So I think that's one of the more beautiful things about this display. Even upon larger windows, it holds its brightness a lot more steadily. And I think, honestly, from like 50 to 75% windows and downward, you're pretty much golden in terms of brightness, which is virtually unheard of in the OLED world, because that usually means that you would see ABL like we see on LG. Where on the Samsung, not so much. So in terms of ABL, your winner is going to be the Samsung S95b. We're going to test motion now by looking at helicopter blade spin on the LG C2 versus the Samsung S95b. Essentially, the LG C2 struggles dramatically when we see the movement all around. It's just a mess now, versus the Samsung, which isn't exhibiting half the artifacts that LG is exhibiting. While motion is generally better, when you get to running in football games like this, you're definitely going to see the C2 pulling ahead, because around the player's feet, it starts looking a lot more digitized. I don't know if you can see that, but the C2 doesn't look as digitized as this does end up looking, so that's something that you will definitely have to take into account. Continuing with looking at motion, fast-paced scenes look better on the Samsung. LG just kind of has this whole like shaky cam vibe going about it. Samsung is with smooth pans and really clear motion, so I really don't know what happened when it comes to sports. It could just be the particular YouTube video, but even still, LG didn't have the same problems when dealing with sports. So at the very least, I would say if you're a sports buff, you're probably going to be better off with the LG. Otherwise, when you get to fast-paced motion and movies or gaming, you should be much better with the Samsung, because as I'm seeing here, it's just more fluid on the Samsung than it is on the LG, displaying far less in the way of artifacts or any kind of motion issue of any kind, really. So honestly, if you were on the fence, right, like, you know, you've got thousands of dollars to spend, you're looking to spend it on a quality set, the LG is just going to struggle a bit more. I think the C1 makes a lot more sense over the C2, because the C2 just, it took a step backwards, and I don't know if a software update down the road can fix that, but frankly, I don't really care. When I review products, I don't review products based on an IOU. I review what's in front of me. So if they do something different after this video, good for them. Today, they aren't really the smoothest TV, and there's really nothing that they can do right now to change what I'm looking at. And I think that's unfortunate for them. As far as Samsung goes, they don't have this problem. They have this really slick, very beautiful image quality that just draws the eye. And I think that story is going to be seen across any kind of media, regardless of what you're watching, movies, TV shows, gaming. It really won't matter. The story is quite simply put. The quantum dots made such a big difference in the way color purity is represented that LG just cannot compete anymore. And the brightness is something you really would have to see in person to truly believe. And many examples, it just gets so bright that even on a camera, it just starts clipping out because of just how much like brightness data is there. And it's shocking because you wouldn't expect an OLED to be able to do this, but it's doing it. This is definitely LED level. 100%, and it's a very consistent LED level of experience. And it's essentially like if LEDs had perfect black. That's what the Samsung S95b truly is. And, yes, there is a risk of permanent burn-in because it is OLED, but with the quantum dots behind it, I'm inclined not to worry so much, and I personally am willing to take the chance. Now, that's something everybody has to weigh up for themselves, but honestly speaking, as I look at both of these TVs side by side, there is no need to compare anything else. Like, this is a domination by the Samsung S95b. So I would absolutely say you should absolutely believe the hype around this TV because it's real.